Hello and welcome to module 5.3, audience building and the customer journey. When it comes to optimizing your online presence, one of the biggest things you'll need to consider is the process your online visitors go before they become paying customers. You need to start building an audience of potential customers so that when it's time to promote your business, you already have a bunch of warm and hot leads who already know, like, and trust you, allowing you to sell more of your products with the least amount of effort. It's all about creating a system that will give you the leverage that you need to attract people to your business even when you're not working. We're going to talk more about that as we get through the forthcoming modules, but let's take a look at what's inside this module. So in this module, you'll discover how many times on average your customer has to be exposed to your brand before buying, the customer journey through the sales pipeline, the 3 levels of traffic that affect your sales and conversions, the power of brand advocates and referrals, how email marketing can help you recoup lost opportunities, and finally, how to remarket to people who have abandoned your shopping cart or not completed the deal. So let's dive in and look at how the sales funnel works and what the customer journey looks like. So here's a problem. A lot of business owners believe that if you just build a website, people will come and buy your product or service. Now, this is how most business owners think things should work out. So they expect people to find them on Google, go onto their website, add something to the shopping cart, and purchase. So they think it should just go from Google to the website to buying a product. Or they expect people to just see something on social media, visit your website, and then from there buy a product. But here's the reality. It takes 7 exposures before the average person is ready to buy. So it takes an average of 7 exposures for your brand to convert a prospect into a sale. An exposure is simply an email, a phone call, or any kind of interaction with the person with a view to educate them or raise awareness about your product or service. So it's basically like a touch point. The reality is that for every 100 people who visit your website for the first time, 98 will leave your website without buying. Let that process for a second. So only 2 will make a purchase. So what about the other 98 people? Now, most small business owners don't even know where to begin when it comes to getting a second chance with the 98% of people who don't buy. But what you're about to discover in this module will put you miles ahead of your competition, giving you the ability to dramatically reduce the number of missed opportunities. Let's look at the customer journey. When you rely on your website or social media for the majority of all your sales, you need to fully understand the process your visitors go through before becoming a customer. Now, without understanding this process, it's very difficult to know exactly what to change or what to improve in order to increase your sales. Now, this process is what we call the customer journey. The customer journey that your customers go through will really depend on the nature of your business, but for illustrative purposes, we'll look at how a customer could typically move from the first exposure to a sale. Now, because of the way consumers gather information nowadays from multiple sources, and that includes blogs, reviews, word of mouth, and social media, generally speaking, the old linear process of the majority of customers going from website direct to purchase has long gone. So there are multiple touch points in the customer journey now, and the sales funnel looks more like this. Now, there's something wrong with this picture. It goes from a post on social media to a website. Customer leaves the website, does some more research, goes back on social media, and watches some cat videos. Now, how do we recoup all those missed opportunities? I want you to hold that thought. Online buyers are much more savvy. The big difference is that today's buyers like to gather information for themselves. They don't want to be sold to, and ultimately they're much more in control of the speed at which they go through your sales funnel. So it's your job to make sure that your brand is in front of them as much as possible with one goal in mind, and that's to get them to know, like, and trust you. Now, you do that by building an audience of people and taking them from awareness to that point of being a brand advocate. Ultimately, how you execute that will depend on your traffic source, how people are finding you, for example, and you need obviously the right offer to present to your prospects. But let's look at how you can actually do this. We're going to break down different types of traffic. So you've got cold, warm, and hot traffic. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So when marketing your business, you need to understand that all internet traffic is not equal. So for instance, if you send someone who's never heard of you or never been exposed to your content to your website, what's the likelihood of them buying from you? Chances are slim to none, right? Now this is what we refer to as cold traffic. Cold traffic refers to visitors who have little or no idea of who you are and what you can do for them. Now this will make up the majority of the internet traffic from search engines and social media. Cold traffic has a very low conversion rate simply because no trust has been earned yet. Let's talk about warm traffic. Warm traffic includes people who frequently return to your website, your subscribers, people who regularly engage with your content on social media, and those you've influenced in a positive way by offering them sweets or other free content. And this is where the magic actually happens. So when you intentionally build an audience of warm prospects, selling your business becomes much easier. Your warm audience know who you are, what your value is, and have a certain amount of trust in your brand. So before talking about warm traffic, I spoke about cold traffic. So the way you turn cold traffic into warm traffic is you offer them sweets. So you offer them a lead magnet, something that will entice them into your sales funnel. So for example, it could be a coupon code, it could be a free ebook, it could be a 3-part video training series to show people how your business works and how it could benefit them, or how you can solve a particular problem. So once they've been exposed to that free valuable content, they're now a warm lead because they know who you are and you've given some sort of value before money has even exchanged hands. So moving on, let's talk about hot traffic. Now hot traffic is very special. This is your buyers list. So these are people who are repeat customers and those who recommend you to their friends and family, or what you would call your advocates or hardcore fans. Now, if you can build and nurture your hot audience, your business will be on fire. You will thrive, literally. Which brings me on to referrals. So speaking of hot traffic lists and buyers, let's talk about referrals. You don't even need the internet to do this one, but the most powerful thing about referrals is that the level of trust here is unmatched. Customers that are referred to you buy with much less resistance simply because they trust the person that referred them in the first place, and they're generally a higher quality of customer because their mindset is that if it's good enough for my friend or my sister or my brother, it's good enough for me. I'll give you a couple of examples of how that's worked for me in terms of the work I've done for Cakebox Creative, which is my graphic design brand. I have literally had customers come to me and they've said to me, I've been referred by my cousin or a friend of mine. I'd like you to do some design work for me. And I'm like, that's great. Have you seen my portfolio? And they're like, no, I haven't seen your portfolio. I haven't seen any of your work. So you see, they're willing to hand over money. They haven't even seen any of my work, but they trust the person that recommended them so much. They're willing to part with their money without even seeing any of my work. So that confidence and trust is unmatched. So make sure you leverage referrals, and that is really a hot traffic source. So your hot traffic source will include people that you get referrals from. So let's recap on the power of referrals. Unmatched trust, better quality of customers, much cheaper than acquiring new customers. I didn't actually mention that, but that is very true. It's a lot cheaper to acquire customers from referrals than new customers, because with new customers it's cold traffic and you're always trying to warm up those leads. Whereas with referrals, you can ask your referrals for referrals, and that is powerful. Something I'll probably talk about in a live training, but asking your referrals for referrals is super powerful. Now, saying that, because of the way referrals work, the customers do the work for you, so you don't need to spend so much time and energy trying to market your products or services. Here's a hot tip: add a referral scheme page to your website and use that to grow your hot and warm audiences very quickly. Okay, and finally, customer service and care is key. The only way you're going to get referrals is if you've got good customer service in the first place. So be mindful of that. So let's move on. So remember a few slides back, I said there was something wrong with this picture. This shows a sales funnel where the customer goes from a social media post to your website, leaves the website, does some more research somewhere else, goes back on social media and watches some cat videos. So I'm about to reveal a couple of solutions to this problem, and one of them is email marketing and the other is retargeting. So let's start with email marketing. To make sure you're maximizing the amount of leads you get from your website and start building your warm audience, you'll need to make sure that your site is set up to collect as many email addresses from your visitors as possible. Now, the best place to do this is either on your blog or when they're about to exit your website using email list building tools such as SumoMe, Bloom, or layered pop-ups. The secret to getting more sales is in the follow-up that you have with your potential customers, and email is still proven to be one of the most effective ways of converting leads into customers. You can use tools such as MailChimp or Aweber to send your warm audience valuable content, bringing them closer to the sale. But don't just sell, provide value. One common mistake with email marketing is being too salesy. What you need to do is become an invaluable resource and give people a reason to stay and receive your emails. There's absolutely no shortage of email newsletters to join out there, so you can't present your newsletter as just another newsletter. So when you send follow-up emails to your subscribers, it's not just about selling. It's about communicating your value well enough so that they can clearly see how your product or service is an absolute must for them. Now, you want to do this so you can build a relationship with your visitors, giving them valuable information, helping them solve their problems, and building rapport with them. Now, we'll go into more depth about email marketing and how you can get started in a dedicated module. But the first step is being aware that your website must be set up to collect emails. Now, if it's not, that's where you need to start. So let's assume you're already collecting emails and you have a few subscribers. When you send follow-up emails to your subscribers, it's not about selling, it's about communicating your value once again. But remember, as easily as people can join your email list, there is an unsubscribe button so they can leave anytime they want. So make sure you send out a balance of valuable content and promotional messaging. So I'm not saying don't sell in your emails, I'm not saying that at all, but make sure there's a balance of valuable content and promotional content. When you do that, your funnel can look something more like this. So someone sees your content on social media or your blog or a video. It's shared on social media. Now you have a new website visitor. They consume the content. They think your content's great. It's marvelous. And they see your call to action to subscribe to your email list. So they've seen your opt-in form and the customer joins your email list. Now they're sent a follow-up sequence after they've got their you've given them a freebie like a free ebook or a discount code or something like that, and that's when the customer makes a purchase. So they see the follow-up sequence, and in those emails you'll probably let's say for every 3 value emails you might make 1 sales email, and that's when the conversion happens. Happy you, happy customer. Which brings us to the next thing I want to talk about: retargeting. So you can target your email subscribers elsewhere on the web. So the powerful thing about having your visitors' email addresses is that you can also target them with advertisements on Facebook by uploading their email addresses into what's called a custom audience inside your Facebook ads account. Now, this is one powerful strategy I'll be covering in another module, but just so you're aware, this is a possibility, and the best marketers are using this strategy to make sure that their brand is visible on a consistent basis. It's all about getting the most eyeballs on your website and building an email database of potential customers that you can market and sell your products and services to. So let's have a quick introduction to retargeting. Have you ever been on Facebook and seen adverts that point to something you were looking at a few days ago? Maybe you were looking for a particular product online, and now you're starting to see ads for this product everywhere. Now, what you're seeing is an ad that's part of what's called a retargeting or remarketing campaign. The smartest marketers know it takes, on average, 7 exposures to get someone to the point of sale. So the idea here of a remarketing campaign is to make sure your content is being displayed to your audience constantly, so when they're actually ready to buy, you'll be more than likely to get the sale as opposed to your competitors. That's why they target their customers with relevant ads that only are seen by people within specific audiences defined by them. So let's talk about cookies. So I'm not talking about the type of cookies that you might have as a snack. As a Facebook, Twitter, Bing or Google advertiser, it's actually possible to insert a small piece of code called a browser cookie into the header part of your website that will track visits to your website and record data about the website visitors. So if you're in doubt about this, probably something you should ask your web manager. If you run the website yourself, it is something you can do with the help of plugins, or if you're inside the if you take part in the live trainings, we go through some of that stuff as well. Now, this data is connected to its corresponding advertising platform and allows you to show an advert to anyone who's been to your site within a certain time period. So that way, anyone who's seen your blog or been to your website without signing up to your email list or without making a purchase can be kept inside the loop. They can be kept inside your sales funnel until they're ready to move to the next stage of the cycle. So using this technique, you can build audiences of people who have visited specific web pages on your site, so you can continue your engagement from wherever they've left off. So let's just say a website visitor looked at one of your products and placed it in their basket but didn't complete the checkout. Now you can go to Facebook and create an ad targeting users who have abandoned the shopping cart and send them right back to your website to try and complete the sale. Now this is done by inserting a tracking code on the shopping cart page, which is called a Facebook retargeting pixel. Now this records the Facebook user ID of the person visiting your site, and if they've previously logged into Facebook, that's when their data gets recorded. So when someone visits a specific page on your site, their Facebook user ID is added to that particular custom audience that you define, so then you can go back and advertise exclusively to those people later, which is extremely powerful. So look out for the live trainings on that, and also the Facebook training modules that will be inside Cakebox Academy also. So to wrap up, understand the journey of your customer and how they're gathering their information on products or services like yours. Make sure your content, your blogs, your videos, social media posts offer value with the goal of inspiring, entertaining, and keeping your audience informed. Build an email list, which is your warm audience and your hot audience, by engaging your subscribers, leading with free value-based content. And that's always a good place to start before asking for the sale. And finally, create custom audiences in Facebook, Twitter, Google, or Bing to keep in front of your audience at all times. Now, you can use this method to recover lost website visitors to move them closer to the sale, or you can lead with value, deepening your relationship with your cold audience and getting them to your email list, warming them up for the sale. So congratulations, you've successfully completed this module. Hope you got tons of value and learned a lot, and I hope you've taken lots and lots of notes. I look forward to seeing you inside the next training. So bye for now.